YouTube button. Hey, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we live then. I'm gonna have to remember to do that in the future. That's gonna be like a whole thing. All right, let's see. Oh God, my posture is so awful. I gotta work on that. I'm gonna try and work on that today. You gotta keep your back in contact with the chair. Don't shrimp. I should literally just get like a thing that goes under my arms and just keeps my top half like strapped to the chair. Keeps my bottom half too. It'll force me into a good posture. Do that for like a week. Ah. All right, so we whipped up a strategy component last night, and we need to figure out how to unit test it with the new paradigm. Hmm. What are, what are we making? Doesn't what does the title say? Algo trading and trading algorithms. Yep. So we're doing one of those two things at any given time. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, let's get the trading software running. I just started streaming. I'm a little groggy. I tell you, I got to look into those services that Philippe was telling me about that'll like run this architecture for me. So like once it's up and running, I can basically like hire a site reliability engineer so that I can sleep at night and just kind of wake up and hop on a conference call with my dude and be like, "All right, how are the overnights? Ayo." That's gonna be great. So to answer your question, my friend, we're building. Well, we've built an algorithmic trading platform, and now we're building strategy components for the machine learning to discover trading strategies. So we don't build the trading strategies ourselves. We build little components that just kind of label the market in meaningful ways. Like, for example, the trading schedule, pre-market, core hours, aftermarket, overnight. It just generates those labels. That's it. That's all it does. Um, and those labels may or may not be helpful for the machine learning to figure out a trading strategy. We just kind of put in the stuff that we think might be useful, and then the machine learning figures out strategies for us, and then we can automatically deploy them. Trend lines and labels, we try to stay away from technical analysis here. Think of it more like feature importance analysis. We hunt for anomalies. We have a giant library of Let me start. We catalog anomalies, right? We have a large library of trading tactics, and we build up a large knowledge base of market regime models, right? So when you combine those anomalies with those regimes and those tactics, you can generate a shitload of trading strategies, and some of them are pretty good. That's all right. Just hang out. You'll get it. Like I gotta get booted up. You'll see. We're just getting started, babe. We usually run like 9-hour streams. I need to record a YouTube video of a system demo now that we have the dashboard up and running. That way, when people ask questions like that, I can monetize it. Oof. The reflux, you know? So, hey, gang. Uh, just a friendly reminder to everyone that if you happen to be in New York, you should go run out and register to vote right quick if you haven't. So you'll be eligible for jury duty. And and just in case you find yourself selected for a trial where you suspect someone was perfectly justified in their actions. Just a friendly reminder, if you want to go for jury nullification, which is where you just plant your feet and say not guilty, don't tell anyone. Don't tell a soul. Keep your mouth shut until it's time for deliberations. When deliberations come, then you plant your feet and you say, I will die before I vote guilty. So, we can hung jury now or we can hung jury later. Of course he's guilty. That's the whole point of jury nullification. Is obviously he's guilty. Not that we're talking about any specific case here. Perfectly theoretically. If someone happened to be obviously guilty. No, I don't want free healthcare. I actually feel like healthcare is not a human right because there's a limited supply of healthcare providers, and so we'd basically be turning doctors into slaves. I also feel like insurance is a modern miracle that does a lot of good, and we overlook that. Like the 30% of claims that are rejected, we're not looking at the 60% of claims that aren't, right? And how those people's lives are being saved by this service that maybe otherwise wouldn't be. So, anyhow, I'm not one of those like we have a right to education and healthcare and other things that are in limited supply. It's like you don't have an inalienable right to Coca-Cola or Doritos. It's the same thing. These things have to be manufactured. They're in limited supply. That's why they cost money. Now, that doesn't mean there's not a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse in the system. And there's not a lot of predatory behaviors in the industry which have been enshrined into law. I feel like this wouldn't be such an issue if we weren't forced to have it. You know what I mean? Like if you weren't legally required to have this thing that fucks you over, we would all feel differently about it. I think that was why the individual mandate had to go, but that's how we got here. All right, hold on. I gotta show love. No, wait, no, don't end the stream yet. Wrong button. YouTube just has a giant in-stream button. New haircut? No, I just wet my hair this morning. I did get my haircut like a week ago. But I don't have the headphones on, so there's not like a halo over my head today. I just wanted to change it up a little bit. Okay, we're logged into the trading terminal, and ooh, Billy. Ooh, Billy. The overnight's not so good. That's all right. These are just some positions that we put on to debug some stuff. What's going on? Huh? Did that break something? I think my code inspector has gone haywire. We'll come back to that. So, yeah, something's going on with my IntelliJ over there. Whatever. Let's boot up the stack. Got to show the guy the thing. Thankfully, we don't need the IDE right now, so we can just push the boot in on our assembled stack, and it will go boom boom. That'll do. That'll do, pig. All right. Grafana first, then the flight recorder, and data lake. Good morning, gentlemen, gentlemen. Oh man, I like how we're trending towards the thing that we've always wanted to be. That makes me so happy. All right, fire it up. Oh yeah, let's hop on good up on the button, 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 button. Hold on. Which one's the right one? This one. All right. Today's session is 60 erectile dysfunctions. All right. Everybody remember that. 60 erectile dysfunctions. 60 flaccid wieners. Got it? Got it. All right. Coming online. Our bootleg ass telemetry coming online. But we're getting there. We're getting there. I guess the strategies are still booting up. It said they were running. Come on. It says they're active. Yeah, give me telemetry, you bitch. Oh, it's still waiting for a minute of data to warm up in the buffer. I forgot. This one needs 60 seconds of data. We could have it backfill, but what fun would that be? Oh yeah, it's also set to 6 hours. Should be set to 5 minutes. Uh, are we not getting data from Tesla? There it is. Okay. All right. Yay! Came on. Looks like everything's pretty boring today. Oh fuck! We forgot to run the data collector. Re. So when it went to build the volume profiles, it didn't have yesterday's data. That's only like 0.25 of the weighting, but so no big deal. But we gotta, god damn it, we gotta remember to do that. We gotta schedule these things. So okay, over on the Docker, we have this whole other stack. Everything's containerized for simplicity and deployability and repeatability. But yeah, we have this data collection stack that pulls our data from Polygon, their S3 bucket, and their REST API so that we have all of today's current stock listings, some metadata about the stocks, symbol changes, spin-offs, mergers, delistings, listings, that kind of stuff, as well as all the raw data, ticks, quotes, some pre-aggregations that are just handy to have, like minutes and days, just so that we don't have to do that ourselves. And it's like fucking 10 gigabytes for all of history for that. So fuck it, why not have it? It's drop in the bucket compared to our quotes data, which right now we only have 500 gigs, which covers about 90 days. But when we push the button to scale up for production, it's going to go to 15 terabytes. So we'll have every tick and every quote of every stock for the last 15 years, give or take, maybe more. That's good data. I mean, we already paid for it. We just can't afford to hold it. We don't have the hardware. I can only have a terabyte and a half right now. So, all right. So we got. I think today we're probably going to work on some new strategy components because I want to do more trading. Like our strategy's cool and all, and it's good that we're getting our telemetry up and running, but it's not trading, and it's like trade fucker. Hey, how come I saw the Tesla light up above average and it's not lighting up over here? I could have sworn I saw above average. I think these are oh, that's right. These resort, right? Didn't we do some weird table thing? Whatever. These need to go away anyway, because this is what we're doing. Oh, yeah, Tesla's hot today. Why most brokers look like they're from the 90s with no updates? Well, a lot of them are from the 90s with no updates. But like interactive brokers, for example, um, they want it to be as much like a spreadsheet as possible. Like they don't want a bunch of bells and whistles. If you want the bells and whistles, you can go to their like mosaic thing, but they're still going to give you, it's a spreadsheet. We're basically just moving capital around a spreadsheet. Otherwise, you want to be sure that you're creating the exact order that you want to create. And so that has to be very meticulous and simple and plain text, and you can't have any bells and whistles and dynamic fields and shit. It's like that banker mentality of like function over form, right? Is the whole market cooling off today? Whatever. I don't care. People ask me what are my thoughts and opinions about this stock or that stock, and it's like I haven't read through all the fucking homework. I don't have an opinion about a stock. I don't want to form opinions about stocks. I just want to chop them up. Yeah, like if I was in like NORAD or something, like I wouldn't care if it was a fancy UI. I'd care that I could understand it at a glance from across the room, and I think that's what really matters. I was talking to somebody about that earlier today about how like you should really reserve the use of red in your interface for really important things. You don't want your user to get numb to flashing red lights in your financial software, right? It's a live algo kinda. This is paper trading. These positions we created manually to debug the dashboard. We do have a live algo running, but it's not generating any trades. Yeah, it's only done one signal so far. Hey, wait, it should take that trade. I'm gonna have to inspect some stuff. I think its trades might be getting rejected because our last line of defense thing our last line of defense thing is rejecting orders because it misunderstands how they're going to impact our account values. I might have even put like a hard rejector in there with no log entry. I have to check on that. Hey, how can this be panic trading volume without also being extreme? We're gonna have to take a look at that logic. It should be both at the same time, right? I guess I wanted to discriminate between extreme and panic, so there'd be a clean transition. But it looks like it's getting the transition point signals right. That's good. Oh, you should do new ones first. I'm still learning some dashboarding. Night capital moment. Thank you. Thank you. Please don't say shit like that. Don't. All right? You don't work in this business. All right? I don't go running around fucking Lockheed and Martin screaming about the Hindenburg moment, you know, because I don't work in that business. All right. I don't want to be triggering people. All right. We reserve that for extreme situations where you absolutely need everyone in the room to pay attention to what you were about to say. Gentlemen, this could be a night capital moment. Silence. Everyone is listening. If you don't make a very good point in the next 10 seconds, dude, we can't let you stay here. You're crying wolf. You are crying wolf. If you're gonna freak out about a variable name, you're fired, dude. You reserve night capital for when like we're recycling message types and there's a possibility of a version skew. All right, like okay, oh wow, I didn't think about that. Yeah, no, if we don't update this module, then oh wow, oh good call, Billy, good call. Whew, that was a close one. That could have been a night capital moment. But oh yeah, we're like day 4 into dashboarding, and oh fuck yeah, we flipped the sort order on this. Night capital moment. If you don't know, Night Capital was an algo trading hedge fund that had a glitch in their software, a little bit of a bug, when they didn't do a proper rollout. They lost $400 million in like 30 minutes or something. Cornered like the Irish, potato futures or something silly. And yeah, now they fixed the bug, but they still lost all the money. But the fun part of Wall Street history, because they fixed the bug and the software still worked, they were able to put together the financing to kind of bail themselves out. They just kind of sold off the big homunculus mass of all the shit that they bought. Like, oh, we can't unwind it. The algorithm bought all this crap. Oh, well, who wants it? They just auctioned off the mud ball. Ugh, it's yours now. And yeah, then they put together the financing to buy all the intellectual property through the bankruptcy auction and recreated Night Capital. Now it's called Night Capital Group. This is why I can't have Night Capital merch. I looked into this. I wanted to have Night Capital mugs. So that, if you were an algo bro, you could have a Night Capital mug on your desk as just a little subtle reminder of the stakes, But that's certainly not a word that you should throw around at every little meeting. So if I understand correctly, they did have unit tests. They were recycling a message type ID or something like that, or an order type ID. So they updated one part of their system, but apparently forgot to roll out the update to the other part of the system. So their trading logic was sending in something that said execute order type 6, and their order execution manager misunderstood what order type 6 was, because it thought it was the old order type 6 and not the new order type 6. And this caused just a confusion of feedback loop between the execution layer and the trading logic layer. It didn't know what it had or what it was really doing, so it just kept spamming these nonsensical orders. Yeah. And they didn't have any kind of limiter sort of at the tail end of the outgoing end of the pipe to make sure that you're not ridiculously spamming orders that you shouldn't be. It's a little trickier than it sounds, but anyhow. I was thinking today we would put some thought into building more exciting strategy components that can actually generate some trades here instead of just watching this thing label the market volume of 2 stocks. Could also make this dashboard a little more dynamic, but I don't know, I'm getting kind of bored of dashboarding. I want to do some trading strategy stuff. I'm really happy about this, though. We're getting there. Have I tried Data Bento at all? Why, no. I don't know Christina Key personally, and she hasn't given me my own vanity promotional code. that you can use to save 150 bucks on market data at Data Bento? Oh, you don't know Christina Key personally? It's a shame. She's such a lovely woman. She's genius, really. Inspiration to us all. No, there's not going to be any monthly Fed rant. It just doesn't matter anymore, man. Now the question is like, is it too soon? And it looks like we're okay so far. I mean, nothing seems to be screaming out of control. Hey, what's going on with the data? How come we have these huge gaps in the data? How come we're getting all these late ticks, yo? Oh, gang, you know what it is? Oh, no. No, guys, you know what it is? Oh, no, guys. I think I know what it is. We didn't start getting late ticks until I started streaming to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Oh, no. See, you're getting all these late ticks. I think I'm choking my own pipe. And it's like struggling to deliver me these WebSocket messages. Either that or maybe my Docker is just not good. Let's see. Trading server one stats. Oof. Is this good or bad? Is this good or bad? Okay, so it's looking like we're doing a lot of bandwidthing, but not using a whole lot of memory. But yeah, we're definitely getting gaps in the data feed, or at least gaps in the telemetry of the data feed. So it seems more likely that it's the. Are we choking it? How much up am I using? Hold on. It's only two 1080p, you know, 6,000 kilobit per second streams. Oh my god, why is it suddenly so much louder? Is that just me, or did the music like just suddenly get much louder? I heard a beep. Something beeped. Yeah. Yeah, Philippe, I think you're right. Okay, so we're using about half the CPU, and yeah, we're sending about 20 megs up. So I think that's choking my pipe. And we're getting these really huge upload spikes every couple of minutes that seem to be right in line with these gaps in our telemetry. Okay. Well, we're not using Prism. We're using another plugin where I push it. So if I switch to Prism, that would solve this problem, but then the stream would look even worse than it does now. Okay, all right. Let's think about that. Let's think about that, gang. I think Philippe's right. If I'm going to be co-streaming, then I am going to need to put the trader in a server somewhere. Okay, how do we do that? Well, it's containerized. The trading service only, like, we can keep the data lake on our machine. But yeah, I agree. We always planned that the trading service would be co-located, because every time I've actually had an algo trading system up and running, it's been worth the effort to co-locate it. Okay, so how do we do this? We keep the data lake local. We have a remote trading service on a VPS somewhere. We like Volter. That's what we were scoping out before. And then we can run some sort of a bridge between the two. Somebody proposed a bridge, which I wrote down. See if I can find it. It was a specific tech that they were like, yeah, use this. Oh yeah, I need to get a Ko-Fi set up. I could have sworn I wrote this down. Well, okay. So the trader, when it boots up, it initializes the strategy components. And some of the strategy components have to do some sort of baseline analysis, right? And so to keep everything lean and portable, we outsourced all the heavy crunching to our SQL database, like to our data lake, right? Through Python Ibis. So when the trading service boots up, it doesn't need direct access, but it does need to be able to send queries to the data lake and let the data lake do some crunching and give it back the results. From that moment, it doesn't need access to the data lake anymore. We can't store pre-aggregated data in the strategies database. The strategies are amnesic. So the components, when they boot up, they have no memory. We haven't done that yet. So they're basically just state machines. So you give them a date, they generate a super query, right? That gives them their thresholds, and then you start feeding them market data. They have parameters, but the parameters are sort of hard coded, right? It's set up so that if you run the component in the Moneypenny environment, it should have access to all of the stuff that it needs. The parameters like date range, right? Like we want a volume profile for the last year up to yesterday, or the last year up to last quarter, right? Or whatever your logic is. Stuff that could change day to day, but like it's deterministic, right? Like when you turn it on, it checks the date and that determines how it's going to configure itself, right? So like for the volume profile, for example, the one that we're doing here, let me flip over because it's interesting to watch. So like yeah, the basically state machine, right? Um it boots up, it knows the date. It Oh yeah, sorry. It's always so hard to tell the levels here. Check, check, check. I feel like no, it seems to be working fine. All right. Yeah, I know. I'm just kind of having a free flowing discussion here. We're not saying who's right or who's wrong. We're just kind of brainstorming here because we're both. Philippe is putting together his own algo trading stack, by the way, everybody, and he's been my subject matter expert on big data, and he's been really helping me like streamline this project so that it gets simpler and simpler and simpler, along with a few other people, namely Mario, Thomas, Afam. It's nice to have friends who are good at things, you know. So yeah, my goal here is that the more we work on this, the simpler it should get, right? We're reducing the surface area for fuck ups, right? So okay, so with my system, the way I kind of imagined how we would send it into the cloud, right, is we would have the trading service, like let me pull up the Docker here. Like we'd have the trading service, beep boop, beep boop. This bad boy, like this whole stack, basically running on a VPS somewhere, except for the lake, right? Like the data lake query service is basically a REST API. We would be running that here on my machine. Um, and then the remote service would just be able to have some sort of a VPN to be able to hit that REST endpoint, do its super queries, get back its analysis, and go do its trading. So it'll have access to the data lake. It can do heavy duty super queries that'll do all the analysis, so that we're not having to have a heavy compute server with a lot of memory and a lot of like cloud storage for trading. Our trading service will be high speed but low RAM, I guess. I don't know. Well, it won't need a lot of storage capacity. Like it really none at all. It'll all run in memory. Yeah, I love that picture. Pulling data instead of it having a push to them. Yeah, yeah. So they are pulling data. You're right. So okay, if I wanted to do it as a pure state machine, then I would just be feeding it whatever volume profile that some other logic is determining via some configuration file or something, like how what the date ranges should be. I don't know. It just kind of feels like I'm outsourcing that logic. But anyhow, well, for mine as written, it needs to be able to query the data lake. So our live trading service would be the actual server, trading server one, um, the telemetry collector, and our flight recorder. The data lake, the query service, we would keep here, and we'd use a VPN to let it reach out and do a query. Ah, I see. Yeah, I think just the architecture of how I try to make my strategy components like completely independent, like and encapsulate all of their stuff. Like they could have a state machine within it, but there would still be this like controller around it. Because I want my intention for strategy components is that they be self-contained, and if there is some sort of optimization process, it be entirely internal, encapsulated away from everything else, and have no parameters whatsoever. So if it's going to optimize itself in any way, it's got to be purely deterministic, right? So that way it's replicable, right? But yeah, gosh, I'd love to go with a more pure state machine approach, but I got what I got, and I got to work with that for now. Okay, so how much resource do I need to have this sitting on? Well, the strategy components are free to recompute whenever they want, and that's the trick. So if you have an investment universe that refreshes once a year, like the S&P 500, it supports that. If you have an investment universe that has to rebalance every 10 minutes, it supports that. Um, if you have something that only needs to do one query one time when it boots up to know what the last 30 days of activity were, it supports that. And if you need one that needs constant real-time live subscriptions that could change its target at any moment, it supports that. That Yeah, my thinking was if grand unified theory of trading strategy design, right? These four component classes: universe, context, signal, and tactic. And in order to really, really encapsulate that, like they have to be as dynamic as possible. Like I just sat down and brainstormed like every strategy that I knew of, right? From hedge fund manager interviews to technical analysis bullshit. And I was like, can I express them all with this framework? It's like, yes, I can, but this one would need to do this and this one would need to do that, but it still fits into the framework. And that's kind of how it evolved from there. Though I'm thinking I want to give the trading strategy discovery algorithm another pass now that you've taught me how powerful databases can be. I'm thinking we can outsource a whole lot of the inference logic to some queries. and make the, not that it's slow or anything, but it would certainly make it faster, more efficient, less Java crunching, more insert and query. Anyhow, okay. I need to deploy these babies. I'm thinking a Volter would let me pick a location. I could go put one in New Jersey or New York for $5 a month base charge. We'll crank it up to something like $40 a month worth of CPU speed, I guess would be the priority because we want that snappiness. We can't afford bare metal, but we don't need it yet because we're not running super high frequency. And, VPSs are pretty fast. They tend to be underclocked on very, very beefy hardware. So, like, the limiter is never the software. Okay. All right. So, if you're just joining us, we're running into a little problem. Since I started co-streaming on Twitch and YouTube yesterday, we're kind of choking the up pipe. Now, I suspect that I might be able, because right now I'm streaming over Wi-Fi, because they botched the wall cable drop in the apartment shortly before I moved in. And they were like, oh, we can fix it, but we'd have to come tear the cable out of the wall, and do you really want that? It's like, like, no, you guys wouldn't. He ran a conduit. I can see it. They just don't want to do it. I can force them to do it. VPN out of the box. Okay, all right. That might work. Sweet. Transmogrifying. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, right? You get the big, heavy, beefy server, and then you can transmog it into these slightly underclocked virtual machines. And as far as your user's concerned, it's exactly the speed they pay for. Cool. And I assume they're resistant to Intel Ring Zero. Hmm. Okay. This sounds perfect. How much is it? Sweet. I guess if you have to ask. Price. Oh yeah, just go straight to fucking to put your credit card in here. Sweet. One machine. 12 cores. Don't care if it's shared. Give me some giggy biggies. You know I like to fuck. Jersey, baby. Jersey, 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 Jersey. Where the fuck is New York? Should just be a little picture of Luigi. It's Luigi territory. Airport codes. Okay. Oh yeah, JFK. JFK. No. LaGuardia. I don't know fucking airport codes. I'm not a pilot. I gotta Google this. I know JFK. What's LaGuardia the code? That's the Jersey one. No, Teterboro is in Jersey, right? LGA, LaGuardia. Okay, they don't have an LGA. They have a Teterboro. Teterboro Airport is IATA. These aren't airport codes, man. This is bullshit. Yeah, I do watch Sully. That's why I know them all. That's why I know. Do you want to go to Teterboro? We got Teterboro to your right, 2 miles. You think you can make it? That's how I know that. Because I fucking seen that movie 1,000 times. And then the stewardess tells the joke. The fastest way to fuck. I forget how the joke goes, but she's making fun of the difference between LaGuardia and JFK. Anyhow, yes, I remember that movie. I fucking love that movie. I always double feature that movie with Flight. If I'm really hungover and I'm like, I'm never gonna drink again, I start with Flight, and then I do Sully. Uh, okay, thank you so much, dude. My God, man, can I just click on the thing? I fucking hate you guys. You guys suck. Don't make me consult the table, you bastards. I see it. You have a little dot where I want to be. Let me click it. Yeah, we saw Haktua. She needs to talk to a lawyer. We're pissed off that she didn't call it Spitcoin. I literally gasped awake one morning, like, why did she call it Spitcoin? I was sincerely angry that she undersold this scam. You got to consult with marketing people if you're going to do crypto. You don't just go in there and do it with some scammer. Okay, all right. Fuck that. Jersey, New York, Sure. How you can't have dots on it if you're not there. This is fraud. This is a fraud scheme. Come on, something in the Northeast. Montreal. Okay, closest we got. Anything closer than Montreal? Montreal's pretty close. Like the Northeast the size of a potato. It's pretty small. Virginia, but the market's in the northeastern quadrant. Virginia. Bro, yeah, it looks like it's Madrid or Virginia. I'm not seeing Boston. We got Boston. I don't think Boston is closer to the New York Stock Exchange. Boston, which is closer to New York City? Boston or Montreal? I guess it's not really about New York City anymore, is it? Like the SIP tape is coming off in Jersey, so that's why everyone wants to get close to it. But Boston to New York, 200 miles. Montreal to New York, 370 miles. So yeah, Boston is the closest, it looks like. Boston. Boston, yeah. Yo, free Karen Reed. Free Karen Reed. Free Karen Reed. I'm all about that. She didn't do it. Everybody knows it. I don't know. We need some size for the flight recorder, right? I don't know. 64 gigs. How much could it generate in a day? He said. Oh, then we're gonna have a 60 gig egress every day. Oh fuck. No, we don't need data storage. Have a bunch of outgoing bandwidth? Yeah, kinda. $20? That's not too bad. Okay, so it's looking like about $40 a month, which is yeah, that's a pretty sane price for a terabyte, yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, every day we download 50 gigs or so, 20 times a month, about a terabyte, yeah. Something like that. Oh yeah, that's right. And we turn it off at night, so that cuts the price in half. We're only running it for well, that depends, Philippe. Like, are we running the overnights? Because then we'd only be able to turn it off for 10 minutes a day. It depends on our trading schedule. But at first, initially, yeah, okay, we'd only need it for like 6 to 9 hours a day. But eventually, that thing's gonna be. Yeah, okay, yeah. When we have some strategies that justify running it during those time periods. If it's like, okay, we got one that maybe makes one trade a year overnight, that's not worth the compute cost, right? Yeah, ingress is free, right? Not we don't really have anything to send it, but ingress is free, right? Seems so. Well, hey, how much is their storage? A lot. It's 20 per terabyte. It's 2,000 for 100, and we only need 15 terabytes, but yeah, okay. We're not putting our data lake over there, and we don't have to worry about backups for the data lake because we pay for one already. $200 a month pays for Polygon to hold that backup for us every byte, every jot and tittle. So we don't have to worry about backups. If we lose, like if my apartment gets wiped out by a fire, we can rebuild the data lake in a day if we had to. And when we're actually making money and this is actually a business that has like clients like me that we're responsible for managing their money, then yeah, I'll justify the expense of putting some bare metal in a closet somewhere with an insurance policy on it. And then we can have my apartment be like the backup. If everything fails, like we have it all containerized, we can boot it up on any system at the drop of a hat as fast as we can download that data. Okay, this will be great, and it's super secure. So we can VP in it. You said it's got like a built-in VPN. It's super secure, and it's got a private network, right? Zero configuration private networks, right? Hmm. 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 Okay. Cool. I guess we're doing this. Hmm. So 40 bucks a month, approximately. Let's say a little less because we're going to turn it off overnight for like the first month. And I can launch my Docker app, which it is, so we can bingo bango deploy it pretty quickly. How so the only question is, what about the VPN? Like how does it query back home to do its super queries? Presumably I run some VPN gateway service on my local machine where I have a Docker image of the query service. Right, right. Okay. Cool. Very cool. Right, and it doesn't have to move a whole lot of data over the wire either, right? because all we're receiving is a query. All we're sending back is like the query results, which should be less than 100 rows. Like we're pretty good about that. Like I think the biggest analysis job we have returns 391 rows of that are like 5 columns. Pretty short. Is it this that's breaking it? Because it seems to get log jam. It seemed fine until I flipped on telemetry again. I was like, oh, everything's starting to fuck up. Interesting. Maybe I'm not giving enough juice to the virtual container, and that's all it is. Is there a way that I can increase what I've allocated to it? Maybe it's just, maybe it's the console logging that's just slowing it down. Like, I'm not seeing any real CPU spikes here. Aside from the big ones. Memory usage is pretty stable. Certainly a bandwidth hog. Though not as much as I would think, right? So yeah, all the data that it's receiving seems to be going into telemetry. Okay. Yeah. How do we know if it's a bandwidth bottleneck or not? Because I'm just kind of assuming that it is. Okay, let me start making some notes. We got to put together a ticket here. So all right, we like fly.io. Cloud migration. Fly.io for hosting in Boston, Massachusetts. That should keep our ping time to the interactive brokers on ramp in New Jersey below 2 or 3 milliseconds, right? So that should be good. If we could actually get into New Jersey, we could probably get it under a millisecond, but we don't have to worry about that right now. This will probably be plenty fast enough. WireGuard, VPN to bridge the trading service into the to the thing, to the data lake query service. Okay. Yeah, I guess, it's about that time. About that time, Move it on out to the cloud there. Okay, so $200 a month for Polygon. Our data lake we host for free. And we'll be paying, let's say, $50 a month will be the budget for the trading service. That's pretty reasonable. $250 a month for the stack so far. When we move into options, that'll bump it up to $550 or $600 a month, and then futures probably push the overhead to $1,000 a month. Just mostly the data costs. But we're gonna step it up as we make money, so that'll be good. Okay, that's pretty much it. Fly.io for the hosting in Boston, BOS. WireGuard VPN to bridge the co-located trading service to the data lake query service here in Vegas. Okay. Moving on up. Moving on up. So I can literally just give it my GitHub like package, like the one that like compiles down to a. Oh, okay. They do not support. So this GitHub integration is for like Primogen types. You know, many of them are good people, but you know, keep your JavaScript over there, away from my Java. We're gonna build a wall, and you JS boys are gonna pay for it. Why does my brain just read this as fentanyl? Sorry. Fly control. All right. Cool. Cool. So I can just launch the Docker image, right? Like, is that a thing that I can do? I would kind of love it if I could just be like, here is the container package on GitHub. Download it and launch it. Can I do that? That'd be great. Is Java my favorite language? Probably, yeah. A fly toml and Docker file. Okay. Well, I got a Docker file, but I don't have a fly toml. Here, just install this on your computer. Trust me, bro. All right, hold on. Get a snacky here. Then upload your code to a builder and builds. Oh, so it like builds the Docker image like optimized for their stuff. Hmm. Okay, that's neat. This is not a Java cup. This is a Twitch cup. And yes, it's coffee, but I drank it all already. Hmm. Totally missed. I don't know what you're talking about with these silly coffee questions. Um. Okay, so yeah, well this will walk me through making like a fly toml. I'm always hesitant about pivoting to a new thing, but this seems like what we want. Okay, I'm gonna file that away since Ugh. Yeah, no, our system can barely hold itself up. We definitely got to migrate it to the cloud. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. The last time I deployed a Docker app on Vultr, it was kind of a pain in the ass. Okay. Let's see here. Pretty sure I got that right. Right? Pretty sure. Woo. All right. Excellent. Let's see. Flight CTL dash dash. There we go. Okay, this is just a teeny bit intimidating. Just a teeny weeny bit. So when you say the app directory, you mean for my trading service or for the whole compose stack? You mean for the service, right? Because like we have a few things that we need to launch. And so would we need to modify the compose, for example, if we wanted to run the query service here instead of in that stack over there? Because it's kind of complicated. See, we've got the four services, but like two of them only exist in the compose, right? Because it's just like a blank quest and a blank Grafana, right? Oh, okay. So we need to figure out fly.io. Now you've done Java launches here before, right? Because I'm looking at their page and everything seems to be sort of geared towards like websites, right? Am I reading this right? Oh, okay, I see. And they're probably just trying to swoop in on all the pissed off Vercel customers. Oh, okay. This is kind of what I was looking for is like, what's going to happen when I run this thing I've never run before in my application directory? Okay, I see. Okay, so does it auto detect what I need? There's no way, right? Because I that's what the TOML's for, right? That's my infrastructure as code to describe what I need so I don't have to do it in the console, right? Right? Did I do the thing? Did I figure that out? My schmat boy? Okay. Cool, I get it. That's pretty neat. You're right. This is like super easy. Like, yeah, you do your infra as code and then fly away. And then boom, it's gone. It's up there. It does it. That's cool. Okay. What if I have a compose? Like, for example, like my Quest DB is just out of the box. Like we just describe it in the compose. Like it doesn't have a Docker file. What about that? Does all that just magically work? This is really cool. I was actually worried this was going to be too much and I need to do it off stream, but now I'm like, no, actually, we could probably deploy this thing in like 20 minutes. Um, but yeah, compose. Can it do a compose? Oh, I need like a Tums or something. Okay, okay, okay. But what about a compose? They don't support Docker Compose. Okay, all right. What? Okay, what does that mean for me? Because I got a lot of compose here, and I've never worked with Kubernetes before. So, are they compatible? Is that gonna work? See, now that's a little intimidating. I was kind of hoping they had a fly launch compose command, and it would be like, oh yeah, no problem, Jack, we're on that. Hmm. Kubernetes. Can I deploy a single app that talks to the other services on my machine? Yes, but if we don't have the telemetry and the flight recorder on the remote service, then every single bite that it eats, it's also going to excrete because it's all going into the flight recorder. So it would have a pretty insane ingress and egress, right? Like if it's downloading like a gig of data a day, it would also be spamming it back to us, right? Is that would that be a problem? Because if that's like free egress or whatever, then that's not a problem. Because then we could just deploy the trading service and run everything else locally. Though I would worry about the telemetry collection. If possible, I would like to have the Quest DB that collects the flight recorder data and the open telemetry stack all running out there with the trading service. Wouldn't that be better? What's up, Redbox? Yeah, we're doing good, man. We're up and running, but now that I'm parallel streaming on Twitch and YouTube, we're sort of eating up all the bandwidth I have in my apartment, and the system keeps choking. So we're figuring out how to migrate it to the cloud today. We were going to work on strategy components, but like if the system can't keep itself ticking, we have a bigger problem. Yeah, we've had a dashboard for like a week. Decouple the code from services. Hmm. Like, is egress going to cost me anything? Like, if I have the telemetry server and stuff running here on my machine, and the trading service is running over there, the trading service is subscribing to Polygon data, occasionally sending a query back to our data lake here on my machine, but all of its flight recorder and open telemetry stuff would have to come back to my machine too, right? So, like, would we be paying for that bandwidth? If not, then all right, whatever, let's just do it and see if it works. But I don't want to like set myself up for like another $200 a month bill on top of all of this. Well, it depends on this provider, right? So like, let's see, they got a calculator, right? So yes, I'm hearing yes. Yes, I'll be paying for that. Now, would it be a private network cross region transfer? In which case, okay, that's a negligible cost. But hmm, I guess if I'm paying 2 cents per gig, then that would probably be like 2 cents per day. That's not too bad. Because let's see, we're at the Docker going now. It's measuring how much bandwidth it's using, and it's up to like 100 megabits, having been running. Well, okay, hold on. It's only running two stocks right now. So if it was running 50, right? Yeah, it'd be pulling like a gigabit so far. Oh, this service isn't for algo traders. This is just a general hosting service. I mean, when you say security, what do you mean security? Like that's totally not my field, so I don't understand what the requirements are. Like my thinking was we only open the ports that we strictly need. Um all the Docker images are on our GitHub. So I would just pull this compose up into the Volter VPS, and it would download everything and spin it up and run. And I would just have to restructure it so that the REST API was here on my machine. That'd be a pain in the ass, and it'd take all afternoon. But yeah, security. Do I need security? I mean, I guess I need security. I'm not like a customer facing app, so I'm not really worried about getting DDoSed or anything. Um, and if I'm whitelisting IPs, then it doesn't matter if I leak the IP. Only I can connect to it, right? Okay, all right, that's a good point. Well, I want a third option, man. I want a third option that lets me just use a compose and has good security and doesn't require me to reformat the project into independent Docker files. Because I liked the idea of, oh, just run this in your thing and it's there now, and but like we kind of, I don't know. I don't know. I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated. Thank you, Goated Dev. So we're trying to deploy, or we're trying to figure out what's our sort of go-to cloud plan for our trading service, because it's already starting to choke with me using up all of the bandwidth pushing my video to YouTube and Twitch concurrently. Okay. Okay. I mean, they're just telling me how popular it is. They're not telling me what the fuck does it do. So yes, it's very popular. It's very popular. What does it do? This is useless information. Okay, all right, I got it. Okay, all right. Let me be very specific about what we need so that we're all on the same page and I don't start getting frustrated about like chefs coming in and out of the kitchen every 10 seconds. All right, we have a very clear requirement here. We've built everything in a Docker Compose and I'm willing to rebuild it and whatever, that's fine. But we have sort of a requirement that this one service, a REST API for accessing the data lake, runs here on my machine. And it can have its own telemetry, it can have its own stuff, that's fine. Everything else, the Quest DB, the LGTM telemetry stack, and the trading service, I would like to be running in a co-located server so that we're not wasting bandwidth sending telemetry, like raw telemetry, back here to our terminal. Like, we are just going to log into a Grafana terminal over there. And then maybe at the end of the day, we can compress, optimize, and download the day's data and telemetry and flight recorder. Now, if that's just not practical, and I'm overestimating the bandwidth cost that it's going to be to send a couple gigabits a day back to my home server, Like we don't need to auto scale. We don't need to. I know technically we're running on two different machines, but like that's pretty much the extent of it. No, no, this isn't the final setup at all. I just want to go ahead and sort of push it over to the cloud and not have to refactor it too much to do so. Well, yeah, Docker Compose is fine up until this moment. So now we're trying to figure out, do we stick with that and go over to Vultr where we can just do like a Docker thing? I think. I'm not 100% on that. Um, but like I like this fly.io service which Philippe proposes because it has all the security stuff baked in, which is nice. And we should be able to plug and play, but it does not support Docker Compose. It does not support Docker Compose at all. Will I rely on Docker Compose forever? I don't know. This is why we're having this discussion because I don't know. Because it got me this far, brother. It got me this far. And now the trading service is starting to choke because we're running out of bandwidth here on my machine. So we gotta move this baby. Running other people's code on the same machine that has your okay. Well, then we're back to you're assuming that that's your final setup, right? I just sincerely don't know what to do, gang. We're out of my comfort zone. We're out of my element. I haven't pushed something to something up that wasn't like a basic little service in years. And that was like a self-contained Docker image, which would be perfect for this, because then I could just do the thing. You can put a Docker Compose inside a Docker image and run that. Would that be a compose within a container? So it'd be like containers within a container? I don't think you can do that. I think that violates the Simulation Prevention Act of 2424, man. That's how little pocket simulated universes sprawl off in the simulation. You can't have that. The temporal variance authority will show up and shut you down, man. Goated, we cannot use Docker Compose with fly.io. That's the problem. They don't support it, period. They support Kubernetes and they support individual Docker images. They don't support Compose. So my default option, if I didn't know about Docker Compose or if I didn't know about fly.io, would be to go to Vultr. But I don't know if Vultr can do composes. I'm pretty sure it can because it just gives you a box. But I don't know if they have like a point and click Docker Compose setup process that I could do. I might have to like literally install Docker, do the thing, do it all. That would suck. It would take like the better part of a day to figure out. Or just self-run a Docker Compose on a VPS. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking with Vultr. Is like, would Vultr let me do that? I think they would. I know they do individual Docker files, but so does Fly. Let me just fucking pull up Vultr. Learning it would be good for job hunting later. I can just pretend to know it for job hunting later. You know, I'll watch like a Kubernetes lecture. I'll write some notes down, get all the right buzzwords, practice a few lines. I made a career out of that. Hold on, Vultr, Vultr, Vultr. I'm logging in now. Well, on the bright side, I didn't leave any instances running. Oh wow, they got a whole new UI now. Wow, look, city names. What a wild concept, huh? Hey, someone's missing, guys. You know, little New York, little New Jersey, guys, G guys. Do they just not host there anymore? Wow. Oh, that's in. I knew that. I knew things. Shut up. I know geography. I'm an American. I graduated high school. No, I didn't have a GED. Ah! My life is a lie. Oh God, this is gonna be expensive. Oof, guys. Very oof. These fuckers are not cheap. Didn't these used to be the cheap guys? What happened? They have Docker. Does that mean they support Docker Compose? What's Water Tower? It just means Docker is installed on the OS. Okay. Linode. Uh-huh. Okay, yeah, I think that's what I did last time. Like, we don't even need 100 gigabytes of storage. Like, I really wish I could dial this in. Good God, they're all so fucking expensive. Yeah, I think Linode is just out, guys. Like, it's just too goddamn expensive. See, even a shared CPU. Yeah, they got bought. Yeah. Do like it's almost cheaper for me to just go get an Airbnb in New Jersey and just shove my metal in the closet and just glue the closet shut. It'll last like a year. We'll save money in the long run. We really will. You know what? We'll just hide it in the drywall. They'll never notice. We'll rent the place for a month and we'll do a little, we'll knock out part of the drywall. We'll put a server in there, and then we'll fix it. We'll fix the drywall. We'll reupholster, replaster. They'll never know. We'll just stick it over, like stick it up in the. Here's what we're gonna do, gang. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to a Walmart and we're gonna grab like the best laptop they have, and we're gonna plug it in and shove it out above the ceiling tiles and hook it up to the Wi-Fi, and that's gonna be our goddamn Kubernetes cluster. U-Haul data center with a Starlink. Yeah. Oh god. Oh, this sucks. Oh, this sucks. Oh, I need coffee. This is pissing me off. Oh. Yeah, we're gonna do something else today because we just got too much on our to do list to do this. Like any major refactors or any major infrastructure commitments. I was hoping to write up a ticket for something to research later, but I didn't expect we'd have to be switching from like Docker to Kubernetes. You know what I mean? Hmm. Okay. How much does it cost to put bare metal in a closet? Like not including the cost of the metal. Yeah, I know Docker's kind of a toy. I know we're graduating from the toy box to the sandbox. Maybe we're thinking about this the wrong way. Maybe, yeah, maybe we should be thinking about this by the hour and not by the month. Because hmm. Okay. But then what happens when we need to switch to 24-hour operations? We just eat that dick? It's only a $300 dick. That's not a very big dick. I've eaten bigger dicks than that. Hmm. I'm gonna think about that while I make some coffee. Coffee, 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 coffee. So if we're only running during normal trading hours, that's only 6.5 hours a day, right? 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay. Now we're probably going to be trading the pre-market, but not the aftermarket, and certainly not the overnights anytime soon. So that puts us at a maximum of what, 4 a.m. Eastern time to 4 p.m. So 12 hours a day of like hard operating time. Maybe an hour on either side for warm up and, wrap up. So, okay, 12 hours, 50 cents an hour. It's like $6 a day. It's no big deal. We run it on a schedule. And when I'm not streaming, I can run the stack locally just as well. So, yeah, $6 a day. You know how much I make from the stream? Like two. So I'm still bleeding. Um, yeah, that's doable. So, like, I would still want to be able, right, to run it on my local machine the way I do now with kind of a Docker Compose type thing, right? And then just be able to switch, like, where I'm running the trading service from here or there, right? But it be the same service. Can I do that? Yeah, I mean, presumably. Not a great idea though. It's like if you're gonna co-locate it, that's the infrastructure. Don't have like two parallel infrastructures. No, we gotta get to the cloud sometime. I mean, yeah, it's probably gonna end up being like a Kubernetes migration, right? I think that's probably what it's gonna be. I just need to understand it more. Like if it has sort of a parallel Docker Compose type thing going on, and that's what all the cloud people are using these days, then I should probably figure that out. Kubernetes is AIDS. Well, fuck, I don't want AIDS. I don't have enough money for that. I kind of wish Compose was taken a little more seriously, right? Like, it's like why is it a toy? Why can't we use it for realsies? Why can't I just be like, all right, now we'll convert this into a thing, and now it'll be a I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to learn Kubernetes. I don't. That is not like we have 2 months of runway left, maybe. We're not going to spend 2 weeks on Kubernetes. Um, I should probably just stop streaming on YouTube. Like, I'm going to be straight up, guys. I should probably just stop streaming on YouTube. Um, the revenue, like my YouTube channel is not monetized. That's going to take time. So fuck it. If streaming on both is going to cost us an infrastructure change that we do not have time for, then fuck YouTube. That's where I'm at right now. I don't have an audience there. It's not monetized. It's not making me any money at all. It's just causing me a headache right now. So, yeah, I think that's the move. Well, yeah, the plan was YouTube for VODs, but now without the streaming to YouTube as well, now I have to download my VOD and move it over to YouTube every day. Yeah, so I think that's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna abandon YouTube, and it's just that simple. So that way we can focus on getting the system into a state where it's worth trading, and then we can justify whatever expense and whatever time to move it to the cloud. Then, but yeah, we do not have a lot of time. We wasted way too much this year, and that's my fault. But hey, you got to figure stuff out. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's where I'm at. Why only 2 months? Because I've been unemployed for 15 months, dog. I got money in the bank. I'm doing okay. Like I'm not gonna go hungry in 2 months or lose my apartment. But like in 2 months, like I better have some good leads on a job. Because like 8 months after that, then I will be hungry. Then I will be like, Mama, I'm home. Uh, I got like a year, maybe two in the bank. Let's say 2 good years in the bank, right? It could take me six months to find a job, maybe more. Say 6 to 12. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, I have 2, maybe 3 months. Let's say the end of the first quarter is when I can no longer really do this full time. That's when I have to be doing job interviews full time. Um, so if that's the case, fuck YouTube. I like. We're not making any revenue off this anyway. Yeah, that's the simpler thing to do. Instead of adding $200 a month of expense, let's just cut YouTube. All right, I'll make some coffee, but I'm pretty sure that's the decision. Wait for coffee. Chumbawamba. Give him the old Chumbawamba. All right. I could lower my bitrate a little bit. You know, we get rid of the animated wallpaper, even go back to a black wallpaper, lower it down to 5 megabits per second. God damn it, Twitch! Get the fucking fuck AV1 encoder for fuck's sake! It's been 5 fucking years. It's inexcusable. Do they have the AV1 encoder yet? Because if they do, I could just switch to the AV1 encoder and fix this. Does anyone know? Oh, Twitch AV1 encoder. I don't think they switched yet. I think they're supposed to switch sometime in 2024. Okay, we got it? We got it? Looking forward. In addition to giving some streamers more control, this beta paves the way for new codec support. Yeah, the AV1 encoder is 40% more efficient. Come on. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I have a 4090 estranged. I have a $2,000 GPU that I bought 2 years ago explicitly so that I would have an AV1 encoder, and Twitch still has... Oh, the end user needs one? Fuck. They can't emulate that in software? Come on, man. Let me encode it to send to them, and then they can do whatever the fuck they want with it. Come on. No, we tried a cheap VPS to handle simulcasting for us. It was $40 a month. It's cheaper just to go through Prism or one of them. And it looks shitty. It looks super fucking shitty. Read! I'm reading! Okay. I mean, I don't mind ditching YouTube. Like, I have one viewer there. Like, I don't promote my YouTube at all, so it's fine. Like, it doesn't mean anything to turn it off. In fact, bye YouTube. Come watch us.